So Commissioner Kubilius with Dr. Joseph Eschbacher will have a statement, and then we will take a couple of questions from the room. Please, Commissioner, the floor is yours.
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate ESA and all the ministers and delegations for outstanding outcome on the financing side and all the decisions which were made. Really, it's a remarkable result. So, dear Joseph, really, congratulations with very perfect job. I was very happy to witness. I don't know if my presence helped, to increase the numbers. If that works, I am promising, always to do that part of the job. So really, this will provide a crucial bridge for Europe's space funding until the next multi-annual EU budget will be in place. And definitely, Europe has space programs we can be proud of. We are global leaders in space. Galileo is best for navigation, Copernicus for observation, and soon Iris Square will be also for connectivity in the same place. This is only the beginning. We're at the start of a space revolution, what I am repeating each time. And definitely we need space for our economy, for our society, and security and defense. And definitely we can be, again, very clear, saying that future belongs to space. So we cannot afford to fall behind, neither behind our adversaries, nor behind our friends. The decisions which were made today and yesterday will allow us to continue our important work in space, which we are doing together with ESA, and which have a very important role in Defence Readiness Roadmap, which we just recently published as Commission. And I would remind that in Defence Readiness Roadmap, we put one of the flagships, which we call Space Defence Shield, and this is exactly what we are doing together with ESA on those projects which have very strong, significant role to play in our defense capabilities. So what we are going to do next for Galileo, of course we are developing LEO PNT, our new low Earth orbit positioning, navigation and timing component. For Copernicus, we need to ensure continuity and expansion, but also we need to set up an Earth observation governmental service for space-based geointelligence adapted for the military and for civil use, for civil security use. And thanks to ESA precursor program, ERAS, European Resilience from space, we can start now and accelerate. Second, next one is, of course, development of Iris Square, secure satellite communication, which is crucial also for security and defense. And we shall go with reinforcing the safety dimension of space with space weather monitoring and planetary defense, and with encouraging space commercialization and developing technologies and space solutions. And, of course, ensuring access to space, essential for our strategic autonomy. We understand very well that we will have no access to space without access to funding. And that is why this ministerial meeting and decisions were so important. Finally, let me say, really, again and again, I can repeat that we are great in space because our teamwork is great. Cooperation between the European Union, ESA, and European Union member states has a double benefit. It enables Europe to achieve more with less. By uniting our strengths rather than overlapping, by combining our capabilities rather than duplicating, by consolidating instead of deepening fragmentation, we will elevate the future of Europe together. Today, European cooperation is more important than ever in a global context where we are collectively challenged to be more ambitious and autonomous while exercising budgetary restraint. We must create and keep united our single market in space in order to use the power of the single market to strengthen global competitiveness of our space industry. Together we can do what no member state can do alone. And here, as this ministerial, I want to thank again the ESA member states and the Director General, Joseph, for excellent cooperation and this excellent result. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Now I give the... Please, Director General.
So thank you, Andrius, thank you, Commissioner, for this statement and these words. And I really would like to say that your presence has made a difference. Your presence here has been very important for the member states, that they are reassured by the strong cooperation that we do have and that we have built up over the last year, and particularly on all the programs where we work together. So this certainly was decisive in the level of subscription as well, and I would like to thank you for coming to Bremen, for supporting us through these 2 days. It is a commitment on your side, and it's much appreciated, and really thank you from the bottom of my heart. So we are coming to the end of a challenging year in which the norms of the past 8 decades have been questioned in ways many of us had not expected. The European Space Agency has responded to these global challenges by applying our knowledge and expertise to particular areas in which we believe space assets can help and areas in which space assets need protection. The discussions of the past 2 days have been important in deciding ESA's direction. We are moving forward, sustaining excellence in space science, Earth observation, technology, exploration, navigation, commercialization, and all of our other established activities. But we now have an instruction from this meeting to proceed with the proposal for European resilience from space, that is to use the very best in Earth observation, navigation and secure communications, particularly for rapid access to high-resolution recent imagery from space. This will be a huge support for humanitarian purposes, disaster risk reduction and climate change mitigation, but it is also a purpose in non-aggressive defense applications and is open to dual use, in fact, to multi-use applications. This is a significant step and one where we rely on our continued careful international cooperation, particularly with the European Union. Europe's space strength lies in unity. The European Commission and ESA are aligned and working hand in hand to deliver solutions that bring together the best of European skills and expertise. From climate to security, from agriculture to connectivity, our future depends on collective efforts, on cooperation, not fragmentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll take some questions from the room. Thank you. Can you again state your name and media outlet before you ask your question? Thank you.
It does work, thank you. Peter DeSaldi, Space Intel Report. Commissioner Kubilius, my question has to do with Iris Squared, just Iris Squared. About a year ago, 11 months ago, you signed an initial contract with a consortium to build Iris Squared. You said a year later they should submit to you an updated dossier on cost and schedule and technology readiness. So they'll be doing that next month. And the Commission says it wants till March to study this document to make sure Iris Squared hasn't gone off the rails. I guess if I'm going to be really blunt, and forgive me the bluntness, all right? What can you do to persuade Germany that it would be not in anybody's interest to have them duplicate Iris Squared on a national level? That's the basic question.
Well, first of all, really, I would like to congratulate Germany that they are increasing their spending on space. It's very crucial, and I would say that, other countries could follow. And we are very happy that, with recent decisions which we made in Commission and Council, we opened the doors for member states, for example, to spend RRF funds, which they cannot spend on other projects, to start to spend on space projects. So this is coming. And second, really, what is most important, that the systems which we are developing together with ESA and the systems which some countries want to develop as their own should be very much interoperable. That, we should not have such a situation that each of us, we are investing into similar project, but then they cannot work together. And the capacities which member states are creating will stay, quite a lot of those capacities will stay without proper use. So if interoperability is guaranteed, so more satellites in space perhaps will not be, how to say, a big problem. It can, in some cases, it can bring even added value, and that is what we're looking for.
Thank you. Yes, please. Can we have the microphone?
Thank you. Thorsten Krinning from Spacewatch Global. Question to you, Commissioner. You mentioned the European Space Shield as a result of the European Readiness Roadmap. Can you a bit describe the role that you would foresee for ESA in that development?
Well, Space Defense Shield is exactly umbrella for all the projects which we are developing together with ESA, but which are related very much with defense needs. Either, space for defense or defense of space. Those are the projects which we call now as a flagship as Space Defense Shield. And we put that, language on flagship into our document, which we call Communication on Defense Readiness Roadmap. So we put that into Defense Readiness Roadmap. That is very important to understand, because defense, to say very shortly, if member states will fulfill what they promised to NATO, to spend, to increase their defense spending up to 3.5%, so very simple calculations are showing that then, till 2035, member states will spend for defense 6.8 trillion euros. Big amounts of money. And Germany is showing an example that the money which we usually are calling as money for defense could be spent also for space. So we are looking here in some kind of this, very important synergy that, really we would see some of those very important developments in space as very much related with defense, and then maybe, to find a synergy how we can finance them. So this is really one thing which we want to show very clearly with this, flagship, what we call flagship. Second, I'm always repeating that space is showing very successful space. What we are doing in space is showing very successful results of development of pan-European projects. Like Galileo, like Copernicus, like now Iris Square. I'm absolutely sure that Earth Observation Governmental Service will be the same, which is much more difficult to do in a poor defense, sphere. Because there is no such tradition, and now it's some kind of legacy. Industries are very much fragmented. So in some way, we're trying to show also for, developments in defense, a good example of space, that look, if in space we are able to do very successful projects together with ESA, we have all that, established relationship. We should look for something similar to be developed also in defense.
Thank you very much. Yes, please.
Hi, Camille Cerisgessin from Agence Europe. A question for Mr. Kubilius. Mr. Kubilius, after the results of today, are you confident that the member states of the European Union will give a lot of money for space in the next MFF? And you are always presenting defense and space together when you are presenting 131 billion euros. Can you give us just the part for space the Commission wants to have in the next MFF? Thank you.
Well, you know that with next MFF, now we have such a stage when Commission proposed very, I would say, prudent proposal, the draft of next MFF, and where we propose that spending on defense and space will be increased by 5 times, up to 131 billion euros. So this is really quite a substantial increase. And I can tell you from, my understanding how European Union now is working and what are the priorities, that really defense and space is a strategic priority. So that brings me, some substantial hope that during next stage of negotiations with the Parliament and Council, spending on defense and space will stay at that level, which we proposed. I cannot, tell what numbers will be exact, because that is negotiations, but of course we shall do everything in order to, again, to convince member states and parliament members that defense and space really demands substantial financing from EU budget. It's not enough that member states are increasing quite substantially, especially on defense, because we need to be very effective with our defense industrial programs, which now are also coming into life, into operational stage, like EDIP, European Defense Industry Program, because at the same time, we need to develop our defense capabilities, but also to finance possibilities to resolve structural problems, for example, for our defense industry, which is very much fragmented, and there is lack of capacities and so on and so on. So that's why really this public funding for defense and space, and especially for space, is very crucial.
Thank you. Commissioner and Director General have time for one more question. So is there? Yes, please.
Sonia Gatabishan, TVP World. A question for the Commissioner. How is the European Resilience from Space program different from existing Earth observation and navigation programs? And how will the national capabilities, such as, for example, Poland's Camilla constellation, be employed, if in any way?
Well, as you know, Director General has mentioned, back in June, perhaps, in the ESA Council Meeting, I made a very simple and clear statement that resilience from space and OGS is really moving to the same direction. So, why it's called in a different ways, this is maybe not most important question. I'm also not very happy with the title as Observation Governmental Service, because for me it sounds very Brussels-style bureaucratic, and we are looking for possibility to find some kind of more, how to say, emotional, or like Galileo or Copernicus. I don't know. I cannot propose now, but the content is the same. So really, and the need is very clear. Definitely, we need to have, possibilities to have geointelligence data with almost real-time availability. You know that now we do not have that, at least as European Union system. I hear from some experts who are saying that Chinese are developing some kind of such a system where they will have possibility each 6 minutes to see the precise picture of the same spot, which is not the case with us. At least somebody was telling me when I asked, so how often Copernicus, was not such a precise, optics can have the same picture. I got an answer once a day. So this is what really is making a difference and what we need to develop, and especially when we now we have a possibility to see, how to say, real war, very tragic war in Ukraine. All of us understand how much such kind of capabilities, what we call strategic enablers, are needed for the modern warfare. So that is what we need to develop.
Thank you very much. Commissioner, do you want to
There was a
add
second
something?
part
Yes.
of the question on Camilla, if I may.
Yes, of course.
On Camilla, because you asked how Camilla can be integrated into such a system. We know Camilla well because we built it for Poland, as you know. But the constellation of Camilla is a satellite constellation for dual use, that means or for the defense community. But the way how it could work through ERS and UGS, which is exactly the same but under different names, but we need to find a good name, is that we have a system of systems where national assets can be brought in. And that's exactly what the architecture is about, in order to build up making use of the existing systems that we have in several countries, which are very powerful and very important, but not enough if you even add them up, so in order to reach a much higher frequency. So therefore, this system of system approach, where each country retains ownership and control of its system, is a principle, but we could build an architecture through interoperability and exchanges, to secure communication, to make them really work together as a unity. And this is exactly how this could work. Of course, the decision is with Poland, because we build it for Poland. We hand over the satellites to Poland, whether they want to contribute them into such a system architecture.
Thank you very much to you all. Thank you, Commissioner, for your time. Thank you, Director General. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate. You have all our directors here in the front row that could go into details. And again, we thank you for your time.